Ross, some bozo. You got 19 years of being incarcerated. That 50 could have took that and converted that to about 5 seasons and then turned around and then did the overall movie. He had a good 30 to 50 million he could have made. Now you standing next to a mother who couldn't even keep a concert going. Rick Ross is on the concert.
Second on the line.
In about 10 days, Ross is gonna throw him away. I'm gonna be real with you, Meech. If Rick Ross, seeing what he did to you, because he knew what he was doing standing on the side of him, right? He know Meech ain't thinking straight. If he don't throw you 3 wing stops, you ought to knock that down. What 50 gonna do? He finna burn that down. He gonna release that last season, and then he's gonna release the Tammy and discredit everything that people thought that man was.
Elliot did my new BMF piece. My old BMF pieces I don't have no more. Elliot charged me $200,000 just for this Cuban. This Cuban is like 1,100 grams. It's chunky, real big. I really can't have this on for longer than 3 or 4 hours. My neck started. The lock say Eliante on it. You know, say his name, his signature. They got the 3 big boogers on each side. So ain't no regular Cuban, you know. You might find a regular Cuban for 50 or for 100 maybe. But, you know, it's 200 just for a kilo.
What's the pendant cost?
3 just for the pendant. There's some shit like, you gotta give my daddy, like when he come home, I gotta keep this forever, like, you know. You can't go no bigger than this, you know. You don't see no silver or gold, you see straight.
I'm sitting there analyzing it like, damn, this wanted some bread, or maybe he spent all the bread, because he made a couple of million with 5.
I go out and spend $50,000, $100,000 every night, 2-3 nights in a row, 3-4 nights in a row.
BMF boss, the legend, Big Bill, since his Welcome Home concert got canceled.
Meech getting out of jail and choosing to work with his son's boss's rival is prime example of how an unhealed parent can literally ruin your life. They will mess up relationships with your friends, with your significant other. You might even lose your job. Cause nobody can tell me that Big Meech working with Rick Ross, his son's boss's known rival, was not deliberate. Okay? That is a very conscious choice. And why might a parent do that? Right? Maybe if they have some trauma, you know, a little bit of resentment and jealousy. Because sometimes with an unhealed parent, all of the reasons they should be proud of you are the same reasons why they're a little bit jealous of you, right? Each should have.
Okay, so large in a shocking new interview, Tony Yo revealed why 50 Cent abandoned Big NCH. And believe me, it's all about the money. Meech wasted all of his BMF funds, and his kid followed suit, making matters worse. His financial troubles are widely publicized. 50 Cent has totally cut ties with them, even threatening to shut down BMF. Now that Big Meech and his son are out here with no means of earning money, it's safe to say that this family is on the verge of financial ruin, and they can only blame themselves. What exactly did Tony say, and how far down are they really? Let's investigate.
Okay, now the question everyone's been asking about. 50 Cent versus Big Meech.
Man, you know that 50 crazy, man. 50's crazy.
Tony Ayo recently sat down with Vlad TV and didn't hold back when talking about Big Meech's money problems. Here's the deal. When Meech got out of prison on October 15, 2024, Tony Ayo pulled up to his place with a few friends. That's when Big Meech started complaining that Lil Meech wasn't sending him any money. Turns out, Meech is struggling financially, and he was hoping his son would step up to help. But Tony Ayo wasn't the least bit sympathetic. According to him, Meech has no one to blame but himself. He blew all that BMF money instead of managing it wisely, and now he's dealing with the consequences. Tony Ayo recently sat down with Vlad TV. Apparently, that's the reason Boozy agreed to do a freebie.
And me and Murder sitting in the backyard, and you like, yo, little baby ain't give me no money. He came in the Ferrari truck, he had the Ferrari truck, he had 4 pockets full. I'm looking at this like, yo, this nigga tripping. Like, little baby he's not obligated to give you nothing. I looked at it like, from that point, maybe 50 should have brung a bag for Meech and maybe a watch or something. Because obviously that's what Ross did or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But that's what I had in mind. Because he said it to me and Murder, and I'm sitting there analyzing it like, damn, this nigga wanted some bread, or maybe he spent all the bread because he made a couple of million with 5. My whole thing is, maybe the relationship would be good as if you saved some money for your pops when he came home, but I understand how it is to be a young black man with money and you don't make the right decisions.
Is just like his parents when it comes to wasting money. So if Meech was thinking Lil Meech would fill his pockets, he's going to be quite disappointed. Spent an outrageous $100,000 on Chrome Hearts jeans. He has about 10 pairs. It's obvious that he isn't good with money, otherwise he would have been supporting his parents rather than showing off his expensive clothing.
Assuming that you were doing it for free,
Yeah.
and I'm assuming everyone else was doing it for free also.
I'm pretty. But I'm pretty. I mean,
Yeah.
you charge a nigga home from jail.
He has about 10 pairs. It's obvious that he isn't good with money, otherwise he would have been supporting his parents rather than showing off his expensive clothing.
To be young and have money is crazy because we was young and had money before, so I understand. Motherfucker got Richard Millie's, Lil Meech got Richard Millie's Chrome Heart jeans, 10,000. I buy some Chrome Hearts for 10,000. I might wear them shits for a month, bro. $10,000 jeans, you know, we was buying Red Monkeys. Them shits is what, $1,000 back in the days? Now everything is like triple the price when it come to drip. So it's like, I understand him being young and all that. You gotta think, when you look at Lil Meech, no disrespect to him, but you hanging in Atlanta with Thugger and Gunna and the niggas at that point, them niggas got super bread. So even if you make 4 million, 3 million, you made a couple of million, whatever you made, I don't know the numbers exactly. The money that they making that in a couple of months. Or for touring and streaming and all that, you acting. So I think him being in Atlanta, I think that shit, I don't know, that Atlanta, you know, shout out to Magic City and the ladies man and all them clubs out there. That shit is a good way to
Fans are aware that Tony isn't kidding around because in 2023, Lil Meech caused a stir by appearing on GQ's On the Rock series to discuss his expensive jewels. Fans of the $500,000 BMF chain were shocked that he spent so much money on it, but Lil Meech pretended to be smugly boasting about the acquisition.
My old BMF pieces I don't have no more. Elliot charged me $200,000 just for this Cuban. This Cuban is like 1,100 grams. It's chunky, real big. I really can't have this on for longer than 3 or 4 hours. My neck started hurting. The lock say Eliante on it. You know, say his name, his signature. They got the 3 big boogers on each side. So ain't no regular Cuban, you know. You might find a regular Cuban for 50 or for 100 maybe, but you know, it's 200 just for a kilo.
What's the pendant cost?
3 just for the pendant. There's some shit like, you gotta give my daddy, like when he come home, I gotta keep this forever, like, you know. You can't even go no bigger than this, you know. You don't see no silver or gold, you see straight water.
At least he ain't getting an earful from his pops, seeing as Meech has the same money problems himself.
$1,000 every night, 2-3 nights in a row, 3-4 nights in a row. Now you got a couple dudes in the corner watching that want to spend a couple $1 million with you. You see what I'm saying? I got lavish homes, lavish spots.
To exacerbate the situation, since 50 Cent gave Lil Meech the harshest reality check and a now deleted Instagram post, it appears that things won't get any better anytime soon. 50 shared some text messages from Lil Meech in which he confronted 50 about his recent jabs at his father. They said, "You unfollowed me on Instagram and now you are managing a skills baby with Rocket when I brought him around you first. I have no idea who he was, but you act like I'm your enemy when I take the shirt off my back for you. I've only shown you love and loyalty in human life. I've gone through my own, but I never betrayed you." A Lil Meech also talked about Big Meech's recent meeting with 50 Cent's longtime rival Rick Ross, saying it was all about the money. He said, "Forget Ross, but he gave my dad some cash so he can pay his bills until then." The upcoming season begins. Lil Meech continued by saying, "This internet stuff is throwing me off, man. You know me in real life," but 50 being 50 wasn't feeling any sympathy for the kid. When 50 saw Lil Meech's text, he responded, "What's next season, little ninja?" While some fans felt that was a bit harsh, it seems like the 50s are enjoying watching the family struggle right now. He even took a aim at Mech's financial difficulties in an attempt to assist Big Screech pay his $30,000 monthly airment. 50 sent a link to a GoFundMe page on Instagram. To make matters worse, he even included a shout out to Quality Control, stating that it's one of P's cribs. Just so you know, Big Meech started a GoFundMe after his Welcome Home show was postponed because he needed the money badly to pay his debts.
BMF boss, the legend Big Meech, has a GoFundMe page.
What?
It was said that this GoFundMe page was set up to assist him in paying his bills since his Welcome Home concert got canceled. The funds from the Welcome Home concert was supposed to go towards his bills, and it was supposed to assist him in paying them off. Now,
although the rumors are still unconfirmed and some people even claim they are entirely false, Tony nonetheless touched on a few more topics in the interview. He claimed that 50 had visited Mia's home after he was released from prison, and that at that time, while most people believe that the entire Rick Ross scenario is the true cause of the beef, things were well between them. Tony seems to have a different opinion, and it seems that the fact that 50 gained millions of dollars off the BMF contract, while Meech is currently broke and accustomed to being in charge. But it's obvious that 50 is working far harder and earning far more money than he is during that shift, which is undoubtedly increasing the stress.
That was crazy. We went to Meech's house. We sat down with him, Lil Meech, and I thought big things in the future was coming. Because he was talking about stories about motherfuckers jumping in cars with bricks, and he just was telling the war stories that was amazing, where I was mesmerized, and him and 50 was kicking it, and everything was good. And then you fast forward to the Ross thing, and that's when everything kind of went left, BMF was the last niggas to do it in the game. My album came out in 2005. Them niggas was lit, but I think something with 50 is like 50 is the type of I think certain just don't want him to be in the driver's seat all the time. That's how it seemed, because it just seemed like a bad deal. You was with 50, he's talking about stuff in the future, he made your family money, you would think you would be a little bit appreciative, but motherfuckers don't have to be loyal to 50 in business. That's how Meech felt.
In fact, Tony continued by discussing how 50 supported Lil Meech during his father's incarceration. It may surprise you to learn that 50 paid for Lil Meech's acting school, thereby altering the course of his life.
When you take Lil Meech and you put him in acting school, you take him from Detroit. I remember him rapping when he was rapping, and nobody was helping him from what I seen, because I remember when Lil Meech was rapping. Nobody helped him, and then 50 put him in acting school, kept it on the low, and he...
Regarding 50 Cent and Big Meech, fans can see who has been a better parent to Lil Meech. In fact, 50 recently decided to show off his mentoring abilities on Instagram. After giving it some thought, I believe Big Meech was uneasy with my relationship with Mimi. I told Mimi that I don't want him using drugs, and he mentioned that he used to do X like it was cool. I told him to stop spending all of his money, and he told him how much money he... Well, but it seems like 50 decided to send Lil Meech to rehab when things started to go south. People are unaware that I had to send Mimi to rehab. Ian informed me that Russell Hornsby had whippets in his pickup after he peeped while high as EF on set and began vomiting during a weapons test. I looked at the items in baby guns and said, "What are whippets?" 50's nickname for Lil Meech is FY Meme, and it appears that 50 is quite proud of. In a different article, 50 discussed all that he has done for Meech, including how he made the family millions of dollars. He made it plain that no one should hold him responsible for the current financial situation that the father-son team is in. Also shared some old footage of Lil Meech and Rick Ross's daughter, Toy Roberts, during their time together, along with the statement, "Why didn't the old boy look out for Mimi and send him to acting school for a big screech? All your people that were out did nothing for him." He added, "You come home believing you are the black one." Pablo Escobar and effed him up in reference to the rumors that if not canceled in advance, the upcoming season of BMF will be the final one. 50 additionally, before taking shots, I remarked, "I helped your family make over $5 million legitimate dollars, but it's not my fault." When you wear the baby's jewelry, Big Meech returns it, saying, "You think people don't see that you want to shine so badly." Fans think that if Big Meech had been faithful to 50, all of this trouble could have been prevented. Big Meech could have easily earned $40 million for these two to work together on BMF films and spin-offs. But instead, he went and took that photo with Rick Ross, which ruined his friendship with 50.
with Ross, some bozo. You got 19 years of being incarcerated. That 50 could have took that and converted that to about 5 seasons, and then turned around and then did the overall movie. He had a good 30 to 50 million he could have made. Now you standing next to a mother who couldn't even keep a concert going. Rick Ross is on the concert.
Second on the lineup.
In about 10 days, Ross is gonna throw him away. I'm gonna be real with you, Screech. I mean, Meech. If Rick Ross, seeing what he did to you, because he knew what he was doing standing on the side of him, right? He know Meech ain't thinking straight. If he don't throw you 3 wing stops, you ought to knock that down. What 50 gonna do? He finna burn that down. He gonna release that last season, and then he's gonna release the Tammy and discredit everything that people.
Indeed, some people think that Big Meech's relationship with Rick Ross not only ruined his personal circumstances, but also his son's destiny.
Meech getting out of jail and choosing to work with his son's boss's rival is prime example of how an unhealed parent can literally ruin your life. They will mess up relationships with your friends, with your significant other. You might even lose your job. Cause nobody can tell me that Big Meech working with Rick Ross, his son's boss's known rival, was not deliberate. Okay, that is a very conscious choice. And why might a parent do that, right? Maybe if they have some trauma, you know, a little bit of resentment and jealousy. Because sometimes with an unhealed parent, all of the reasons they should be proud of you are the same reasons why they're a little bit jealous of you, right? He should have came home and made his coming home about family. You know, passing the ranks to his son on TV, making millions, looking good, he acting, got a career. You shouldn't even be all on the phones, on Instagram, trying to do a car show with Rick Ross. It'll never be 2008 again. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't healed that. So now you trying to relive your 20s. So you're not seeing your son's accomplishments as this is my son's accomplishments. You're seeing it as like almost like competition. Like, oh, you trying to one-up me? Now the real Big Meech is home. So now let me show you how to get some money. Let me show you how to do it. I'm gonna go work with your boss's rival. You think Big Meech thought about how him working with Rick Ross would affect his son? Cause no, all I'm thinking about is some clout. Some temporary clout, because let's be clear, that relationship with Rick Ross and Big Meech is not real. It's not genuine. If somebody is with you just to spite somebody else, that is not a genuine bond.
Ultimately, Big Meech bears the responsibility for his financial difficulties. In addition to his poor money management, he destroyed his son's hopes of a secure future, which suggested that there might yet be hope for Meech. Items in the area since Rick